Hello, good morning, and welcome aboard to AM News. My name is Denise Apoma-Eje. Now, the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, has described the construction of the 12,830 kilometers of roads and 6 interchanges under his administration as unparalleled in the history of Ghana's road infrastructure development. Speaking at the commissioning of the reconstruction of the Bechem Techimantia Akomadan road at Techimantia in Ahafo region, the President said the impact of these developments boost economic activities and improve the quality of life, hence urge future governments to sustain it. Precious Semevo has more.
The 40.4 kilometers reconstruction of the Bechem Techimantia Akomadan road from Tano South in the Ahafo region to Offenso North in the Ashanti region was constructed by the Gabriel Koto Rango Consortium at 50 million euros after sword cutting in September 2020. The then road was a nightmare for drivers and residents of the various farming communities along the stretch. The roads minister Francis Asenso-Boakye said its completion is a relief.
The main carriageway has been widened to a 3.6 meter wide dual lane with 2 meter shoulder and incorporated a dual carriageway within the Techimantia township. This expansion is designed to handle increased traffic volumes with a view to reducing travel time and enhancing safety on the corridor. A critical aspect of this project is that all the adjoining access roads to the main carriageway have been improved.
The President, ahead of the commissioning, said the project adds up to his government's expansion of road infrastructure, a situation he described as unparalleled in the history of Ghana.
From 2009 to 2016, that is the Mills Mahama era, our nation completed 4,636 kilometers of roads and 5 interchanges stroke overpasses. However, since January 2017, i.e. in the Akufo-Addo Bawumia era, we have witnessed exceptional improvements in our road network nationwide. We have successfully completed a total of 12,830 kilometers of roads across the country and added 6 more interchanges. We're also currently working on 10 new interchanges. This development is unparalleled in the history of Ghana, reflecting a level of commitment and efficiency in addressing our infrastructure needs that have not been seen before.
He said if all governments had accomplished half of what he has, it would have led to economic growth of the people.
We are all aware of the continuing cry within our body politic for more roads, which indicates that the road deficit that my administration inherited was indeed substantial. Had previous governments accomplished even half of what my administration has achieved, the road deficit in Ghana would have been significantly reduced. This would have facilitated easier movement of goods and people, spurred greater economic growth, and alleviated many of the challenges faced by communities across the nation. It is imperative for all future governments to continue this momentum. The progress made sets a high standard and serves as a blueprint for what can be achieved with dedication and strategic planning.
Bechem Queen Mother Nana Adwo Dwamena Sewa II admonished the communities along the stretch to express their gratitude to the President by voting for his party's candidates in the general elections. As much as residents relish the economic benefits of the road, they appealed to drivers to drive carefully to avert pedestrian knockdowns. Precious Semevo, Joy News, Techimantia.
And from the Ahafo region, let me take you to the Ashanti region, where a criminologist with the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Dr. Jones Opoku, is alarmed by the habitual attitude of Ghanaians resorting to lynching suspected criminals without allowing the law to take its course. His comment follows the lynching of Sotom-based artist Wilberforce Appiah, otherwise known as Will B, at Tanoso in the Ashanti region. The budding musician is alleged to have died after a mob accused him of theft and attacked him when he stepped out of the home of his girlfriend. There's more in this report.
Wilberforce Appiah, known in showbiz as Will B, had traveled from his base in Accra to Kumasi for a couple of radio promotions. Events leading to his lynching at Tanoso, a suburb of Kumasi, are unclear. Some accounts suggest he had visited his girlfriend Nanaya, who is said to be married, when at dawn, while out of the house, was accused of being a thief. Will B was attacked in the neighborhood and died shortly after he was rushed to the hospital. Abna Asana, who claims to be the mother-in-law of Nanaya, the alleged girlfriend, gives accounts of how Will B was accused and eventually lynched.
I was asleep when I suddenly heard a sound and woke up. I didn't see anyone initially. Later, I heard my daughter-in-law screaming for help. I also joined in the calls. Then, I saw him scale the wall here. He jumped, but unfortunately fell into the gutter. I didn't see him again. Later, I overheard a noise in front of the house. I went out and people who had brought him said, "This is the thief that came into your house." I would be a liar if I know the person who beat him.
But family of the deceased, Obrimpong Kwesiama, refutes claims of the relative being a thief.
How
can a thief move from Accra to Tanoso with his clothes and barge into your room to rape you? We retrieved some of his clothes and other belongings from your home. So how is he a thief? Will B's attack is one of many mob attacks in the country, including the lynching of a military officer, Major Mahama, in 2017. Criminologist Dr. Jones Opoku is worried about the unrelenting push of Ghanaians over lynching suspected criminals. He believes the police's inability to profile mob attackers is fueling the unabated attitude.
We still have to keep talking to people in this country that you cannot just pounce on people and begin to attack them because you suspect. It's not like as if you've even proved anything. You suspect that they may have been committing a crime. So as a people, we need to learn the inability of our security agencies even to drill down and profile people who actually participated in the killing and the murdering of such people they suspect to have committed those crimes is what has given rise to this kind of behavior over time, because people know that it becomes more like a crowd behavior. So all that we need to do is to just congregate, and we can actually met out any kind of instant justice with anyone, and the police do not do any kind of rigorous analysis to identify who was involved and who was not.
Meanwhile, the lady is in police custody at Ibuakwa for further investigations. For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
Now, residents in Wa are calling for action in the rising spate of unresolved murders following the latest incident involving a driver's mate. Residents of Dobile, a suburb of Wa, are in a state of shock following the gruesome murder of a middle-aged man. The deceased, Opoku Richard, was found dead with a slit throat behind a trailer loaded with salt. Joy News' Upper West Regional correspondent Rafiq Salam has more.
Another gruesome murder. Another moment of shock, disbelief, and grief. Another mysterious and unexplained death for the police to grapple with in war. Murder number 17 in 3 years, coming on the heels of a demonstration during the weekend by youth groups venting their anger on duty bearers for their passive response to the murderous acts.
Sounding it as an alarm bell, enough is enough. If they don't come to our aid, we will go to our own aid, because we will form volunteering societies in this place and take the law the way we want to take it, because we can hunt down the people. But once we are not allowed, we believe in the law, we have a trust in the law, but the law is trying to fail us.
The latest victim, an expectant driver, Jones Opoku Richard, was found dead, lying prostrate at the back of a trailer with registration number BA 1818-15. He accompanied to war, loading several thousand tons of salt. Assemblyman of Duru electoral area, Ibrahim Zakaria Tanda, fed to light on the issue.
Anwatabailka Ameti, Adniana Wamona, Komowake, Joe Ajan Donhoyala, To, Obatonke, Chef Fajaringan Tore, Kamase Kunyo Kwong, Abo Ameti, Atenyoka Blangato, Jambo Njang.
Nadaou Suleiman, who resides few meters away from the scene of the crime, says they are living in fear and call for collaboration between the security agencies and the indigents to nip the criminal act in the bud.
But I'm banyo near Jaka, I yelling a poor banyo until the one number. But I'm by invested, I am at Yakajala Banya. I know I do eating Nambala. Kabla Untra and Kalan Sarangara. Timina Kunukuru, I eating in Beranan to Jalanta, Karasanta Atara Yiri, Karidi Makarichi.
Alasan Zuberu and Hamid Badiou Ahmed also shared their thoughts on the issue.
Nowadays, we are always scared. Just like when you are sleeping, you don't even know when they will come to your room and then bring you out. If you look at the incident that just happened, the person was outside and then there's a room closer to where the person is. So nobody can tell. They could have even go inside and then bring the one who is inside. So looking at the situation, we are very scared.
It's very shocking. We wake up early in the morning and hear of this sad news. It's very, very shocking. And it's alien to this community. We never knew of this sort. So as my honorable Sama said, it's a life-threatening. We have to all hands on deck to see how we can help the government security people to at least, if not total eradication, but we see how we reduce it to the lowest bare minimum.
Another murderous act punctuated with hidden clues who the security agencies in the municipality will again grapple with.
The people in the community are really not happy and they are grieving and they are wondering who will be next. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Meanwhile, Chairman of the Upper West Regional Security Council and Minister Stephen Yakubu is shocked about the murders. He was speaking at the scene of the crime and he urged the people to cooperate with security agencies, especially the police, for them to apprehend the suspects engaging in this criminal act.
Very, very shocked and surprised because we have put a lot on the ground, a lot of security men on the ground, patrolling both police and soldiers. And we have designed a way of catching these people, whoever is doing this. And so for this to happen at dawn, we are very, very surprised. And we will continue to plead that information should be given to the police. Our understanding is that the car came yesterday around 5 o'clock How did people get to know that the car was sleeping here? How did anyone got to know that there was someone who didn't actually sleep in the car and was sleeping in the veranda? All this information, of course, the police want to know. If you know a friend who said anything about this car, who said anything about the driver, said anything about the driver mate, can you let the police know?
Can we go to sleep with both eyes closed?
Well, I will say that we should be sleeping with one eye opened. That is the only way we will be able to get information. That is the only way we will be able to catch these people who are doing this. So we have to also be security conscious. Very important, very key. When you are going to sleep, please make sure all your doors are locked up. Make sure no one stays out. As a landlord, make sure everybody is in. And when you are sleeping, please, you have to be somehow alert, especially during the dawn time, from 12 o'clock going. Any noise, please, you have to make sure that you know what is going on. So I would advise that we should sleep, but with one eye opened.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. We are very grateful.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Very grateful.
Well, health authorities in Techimantia municipality of the Bono East region have expressed concerns over the increasing cases of maternal deaths in the area. Municipal Director of Health Services, Dr. Akufo-Addo, indicated that the municipality recorded a total of 15 deaths in the year 2023, a rise from the 2022 figure of 11. He says the directorate, as part of measures aimed at addressing the crisis, has established a maternal and perinatal task force to help ensure that women are given adequate care and support during pregnancy. And our Sabit has more.
Basically, maternal mortality refers to the death of a pregnant woman and then 6 weeks after delivery. So any woman who dies in the course of a pregnancy or 6 weeks after the delivery of the baby, we refer to it as a maternal.
Over the past few decades, the maternal mortality rate in Ghana has seen a steady decline due to several factors and robust systems put in place to ensure safe pregnancy and delivery. Data available to the Ghana Health Services shows that the country has made significant strides in minimizing the numbers over the years, with the figure hovering around 308 deaths per 100,000 live births. Here in the Techimantia municipality, a total of 15 maternal mortalities were recorded in the year 2023, a rise from the 2022 figure of 11 deaths. Dr. Akufo-Addo is the Municipal Director of Health Services.
This has been the 3-year trend. In 2021, we had 8 maternal deaths. 2022, we had 11. 2023, we had 15. So it's been on the rise or the ascendancy.
Even though the municipality is recording worrying rise in its maternal deaths, Dr. Akufo-Addo noted that the municipality serves as a referral center, hence the reason contributing to the hike in figures.
The interesting thing about Techimantia is it's a major referral hub because of the Holy Family Hospital. It's a secondary hospital which is even being upgraded to a teaching hospital status. Because we have cases coming in sometimes from Yeji, all the way from Yeji, sometimes from Atebubu and such places. And even you'll be surprised that sometimes we have cases coming in from Edra in the Ashanti region. I don't know whether it's preference.
The municipality's leading cause of maternal deaths has been hemorrhage, with a total of 7 lives lost within the year 2023 across the municipality.
The leading cause of death, it's hemorrhage. When we say hemorrhage, we mean bleeding related issues. For example, in 2023, out of the 15 cases we had, about 7 of them were bleeding-related cases.
Another worrying development leading to maternal deaths in the municipality, according to health authorities, is certain cultural and traditional beliefs, with some having an impression that until their spiritual fathers allow them to go under surgeries when due, they wouldn't believe anything they are told by health workers.
It's even more religious than even cultural. Because a lot of times they tell you, my pastor said I can deliver. Maybe the Christians will not be too happy, but I've seen it mostly in among the Christians. My pastor says he has prayed. He's done the delivery spiritually. But at least the little we know, spiritual matters sometimes very different from physical. So it's a very harsh reality. We've even lost some clients because of things like this.
But what are some of the measures health authorities within the municipality are undertaking to ensure that the situation is curtailed?
As a municipality, we've formed a task force, what we call Maternal and Perinatal Mortality Task Force. We've established what we call the pregnancy schools. Pregnancy schools are a bit different from the antenatal. Pregnancy schools, you will set a day aside just to educate the pregnant women. Our midwives and community health officers and nurses have also started doing home visits for the pregnant women. So these are some of the measures we've.
Dr. Kusifosoni was, however, quick to add that men have a role to play in ensuring that pregnant women are supported from day one till birth.
I think I jokingly say, look, every man should be responsible enough for the woman he's made pregnant. It may not necessarily be whether it's your wife, girlfriend, or whatever. You should be responsible for that. So the role of the men, so it's physical support, financial support, emotional support. So you see, men have such a huge role to play whenever they get a woman pregnant.
Anna Sabit, Joy News, Techiman.
Well, it's now time for our business updates with Benjamin Akapo.
Welcome aboard our business update segment. In our first story, research lead at GCB Capital, Carriage Booty, has admonished government to use the mid-year budget review to outline innovative ways of enforcing compliance of the revenue laws rather than introducing new revenue lines. According to him, the huge revenue shortfall of 7 billion Ghana cedis for the first half of the year has to be compensated, hence the need for new strategies to make up for the shortfall for the second half of the year. Mr. Booty spoke to Joy Business.
Well, revenue growth is the anchor of this program. It's more hinged on the consolidation we are doing is more hinged on revenue growth than expenditure containment, because that is where the elephant is, right? I mean, the idea is if you can raise enough revenue, then you can fund your development aspirations. It's always been the case that we are not so committed to the revenue growth, but we want to meet as much of the needs of the populace as possible. That's where the imbalance is. And so that is a test case for us. And that is exactly what I alluded to, that we need to watch that space, how revenue, we saw about 7 billion in shortfall in the first quarter of the year. How was that compensated for in the second half of the year? And what is it looking like at half year? That picture will tell us a lot about how the remainder of the year would unfold, because typically the election pressure seems to be strongest in the second half of the year. So we need to see the first half and how things are compensated for. I understand expenditure will be front-loaded in the first half, and normally that is still because revenue tend to underperform in the first quarter, but then we need to keep paying wages. We need to keep doing all the other things we have to do, keep the programs and policies of the budget running, pending revenue picking up. And so we want to see how it's picked up. We want to see what the strategy going forward will be to enforce compliance, not new revenue lines, but enforce compliance. And then when you raise enough, then you can fund the development aspirations and there won't be problem. But if you are not raising enough, but yet you can't keep the budget also tight, the expenditure tight, that is where the problem will be.
Well, in terms of debt, the IMF is warning that delays in finalizing debt restructuring deal with external creditors before the December elections could pose some risks to the Ghanaian economy. This concern was captured in the latest IMF staff report released after the fund passed Ghana on the second review. There's more in this report.
Ghana recently reached a deal with the bilateral creditors and also an agreement in principle with the Eurobond holders. Together, Government of Ghana owes about $18 billion to these creditors. The bilateral creditors' debts is about $5.1 billion and the Eurobond holders is pegged at $13.1 billion. Government is yet to finalize that of the commercial bilateral creditors. The IMF is worried that if Ghana is not able to sign an agreement with these creditors before the close of this year, then that will not be good for the economy and programs aimed at stabilizing the overall health of the economy. There are fears that a new administration taking over in 2025 could push for fresh negotiations with Ghana, and that could not be good in terms of the timelines that the country should finalize a deal with these creditors. There are concerns that delays could also affect the local currency going forward.
And that's what the foreign exchange looks like. But handing over back to Danicia Poma Ajay.
Thank you, Benjamin. And that's it for AM News. Up next is News Review. Don't forget to have a lovely day.